day, Saffron. You found a few things. Hit trap, roughly concealed with sharp sticks at the bottom. Cruel and ineffective, really, if a poacher is after an animal's pelt. You could take out some sticks from it if you wanted to. Bear trap. Not many bears, so not likely to trigger, and not your favorite, but could be useful. Fox trap. I say fox, but really anything canine or feline could also fall prey to it. Deer trap. The main difference here from the fox trap is the bait the poacher set. Fox trap for carnivores, deer trap for herbivores. Rodent trap. Simple enough to replicate, but especially nasty to your good squirrel friends. Thing is, these are all traps for animals. But you are not hunting animals. You are hunting people who hunt animals. There are at least two kinds of hunters. Some actively stalk prey, while others set traps then leave. While the former has always been a point of interest, you have inclined more towards the latter, and therefore, you have a few traps of your own. Safer to deal with them when they are already restrained. You also found a torn piece of strange material. Camouflage colors, but doesn't feel like what anyone would wear if they were out for a hunt. So, what is it? Who was using it? And what are they doing here? You pocket it for now. Might come in handy later. At Vladipak Industries, the factory you used to work, you handled the long torch. Much like a cross between a telescopic lance and rapier in shape,
it has a guard around its handle at one end, and the other extends from a narrow light source to a wide one, ending in an almost round orb and casting light in these directions.
Rounded but sturdy, they had quickly gained popularity for their utility even on their own a long time before the Vladivostoks started including them into their packs. You put these long torches into packs from any series, including the Roverback, Hunterback, Mountainback, Waterback, and Camperback, just to name a few. Upon deployment, each pack would expand to full size along with its contents, except for the long torch, which had to stay in shortened form. As a factory worker, you got one pack free, and coming from a family of hunters, of course you chose the Hunterback. You recall a conversation you overheard there once. Your Hunterback is most impressive, Victoria. Why, thank you. And yet, allow me to introduce our latest prototypes. I have some examples here of the Whippersnatcher and the Ensnarer. As with arresters, these are part of our Nimrod range and great for capturing humans. Less common, I imagine, but useful for those with military or even bounty hunter citizenship types. Each is especially designed for persons with a CNR license, and that means when the target is captured, they are restrained but do not take any form of damage or only minor, temporary damage at the most. Thank you, but I doubt we will be needing these. Well, you are correct. Most of our military buyers already have their own tools or weapons, whether standard or custom issue. So unless they have lost theirs or need another, they seldom request us to supply such items. Well, I'm happy to leave you a sample or two, in case you change your mind. You have my contact. You've seen arresters. Popular for legal use by the military and law-enforcing guardians, they're much like a two-handed crossbow.
But instead of limbs curving back towards the wielder, the side arms extend further out and bend forwards, guiding the trajectory of the split wires. And since even the most primitive models come with pointers, it's easy to adjust between a ranged shot and a blank one.
Just before you left, you obtained these contraptions, being really more interested in tracking down the people who hunt cute fluffy animals. Which means the two small
hunting traps
you have at your disposal are in fact whippersnatchers, and two large ones, ensnarers. Model 5 whippersnatchers are spring-loaded with retractable parts. Essentially a container from which its snatching whip would fire. For your purposes, you hook up its trigger mechanism to a pressure plate and position it so that when a poacher moves within its range, its loaded springs would send the woven fabric and rubber bindings whirling out and around them, securing the person and retracting them back to its position.
Model 3 ensnarers are powered by air pressurized hydraulics. Attached to a vertical column or surface like the trunk of a nearby tree, these are meant to catch a target with its, in your case, 3 pairs of arms and hold them off the ground against itself when triggered by someone who walks towards it. Similar to a hand mine, only larger.
You've tested these before and were quite satisfied with the results, because while a dead poacher was worth something, a live one was worth much more, and unharmed they were the most valuable, gaining you the most returns. Your arrestor you could also set up as a snare of sorts, or you could keep it with you for an immediate capture, and you have your long torch if you got into a particularly bad pickle. With none of these things being in actual existence, that makes your tech level at least 6. Now roll for ingenuity plus craft plus 2 for these contraptions you are familiar with to see how well you disguise them. Is there a particular configuration you choose to lay your traps in? Which hunter's trap do you leave an ensnarer at? Also, do you set up the arrestor or keep it with you? Dean. You make your way over to the shepherd's property to keep an eye on their flocks and herds in case whatever was stealing their animals shows up tonight. You choose a spot overlooking the fields that even a human would find comfortable, and settle down to lie in wait. The sky grows darker and darker, causing your optical senses to switch from day to night mode and convert themselves to utilize their photothermic vision. It's easy in this state to pick up heat signatures from your surroundings instead, and just as easy to determine size, if not shape. Several small quadrupeds cross your receptors, not perceiving you as a threat or not noticing you at all, but none large enough to carry off the smallest of Sean's sheep on its own. Then, almost simultaneously, you detect 2 large heat signatures. The first is quite a large creature, and certainly capable on its own to take out a sheep, if not bovine. Despite being at least double your size and likely ursine in nature, it had hidden itself well, moved very quietly, and rapidly approaches the livestock. Just as you start towards it, you notice the second. Definitely human, the person seems to be acting independently of the bear, yet clearly stalking towards the house. You are uncertain as to who they might be or what they are up to, especially since Sean and Stella were already inside. Being much closer to the building, you realize they're aiming for a trajectory not to a door, but to reach a side window, and you do not know why. Which do you attempt to address first? If you choose to try and move quietly and unseen towards them, roll for coordination plus subterfuge. If you try and scare them off, or try and talk to the person, roll for presence plus convince. If you rather engage in immediate unarmed combat and or knock one out, roll for strength plus fighting. If something else, what would you like to do?